10 years ago today, the world lost one of its most important figures, thinkers, writers, singers, musicians, icons. The world lost Joe Strummer. At only 50 years old, Strummer passed away suddenly from an undiagnosed congenital heart condition. And at the time, he was in the process of finishing what would become his superb Streetcore album. The world lost a great figure, and I lost perhaps the most important musical icon of my life to this day. So over the course of the 350 some odd videos I've done here, I do my best to keep certain personal aspects of my life completely out of the videos. But as this is the 10th anniversary of Joe's sudden passing, I wanted to take a few minutes and really explain just why Joe's music means so much to me and continues to influence me to this day. Like so many people, I spent my teen years rather lost. But unlike most people, I will freely admit that I loved high school and that whole growing up process. But from an early age, music was my passion, and I was trying to find the muse that spoke the most clearly and directly to me. And believe me, I went through a lot of people: Steven Tyler, Robert Plant, Tom Araya, Tori Amos, Kurt Cobain, and so many others. And like just about any teenage rock and roll wannabe, I had a very long Jim Morrison phase. But then when I was about, I don't really know, I was in high school, I stumbled across the Clash's song Career Opportunities thanks to a friend of mine. And the sound of it was beyond intriguing. It was like nothing I'd really heard before. So on my next trip to the record exchange, I bought the only Clash CD that they had, and it happened to be Give 'Em Enough Rope. I was almost instantly hooked, as there was this fire in Joe's voice, this honesty, this to-the-point nature. It was just miles beyond anything else I'd experienced to that point, and I quickly bought the entire Clash catalog, having my mind blown by just about every single new song. Now mind you, this was in the very early days of the internet, so it was actually kind of difficult to get any real information about the band. And to tell you the truth, there are still a handful of lyrics to The Clash that I sing completely wrong, because that's how I heard it the first time, and I like my version. But getting back to Joe, I mean, you can instantly recognize that gritty, unrestrained voice, and even when it was Mick Jones singing his words, the lyrics just spoke to me like nobody ever had. They taught me, they inspired me, and they would eventually save my life, quite literally. Granted, at the time, most of these songs were the better part of 15 years old, and the issues they were speaking directly to had long since gone away. But the message in them, the power of the words, was still just as relevant to me as some teenager in suburbia as they were to the people in London in the late 70s and early 80s. The lyrics had no fluff to them, they were unapologetic and to the point. They called for action, they called for questioning, they called for you to be nothing less than the absolute best you could in every aspect of your life. Mediocrity in any form was completely unacceptable, and that's still a large part of what Joe Strummer and The Clash continue to mean to me to this day. The words and the voice of Joe Strummer, they gave me meaning, they gave me a focus. They provided me with a strong ethos that I still live by. And some of you may take this as a joke, but it's not a rare occurrence when I motivate myself or I shift my mood by simply stopping and saying to myself, what would Joe Strummer do in this situation? That's one of the things I love most about music. A musician that you don't even know, or has a completely different life than you, or who maybe has even passed away. They can continue to inspire generation after generation through their music. It's that music is able to transcend every single boundary that society and culture has put into place. And it impacts us on the most basic human level. That to me is the true power, the true magic of music, and it's what keeps me constantly exploring for new sounds and styles. I never got to see Joe Strummer perform live, to shake that hand and to thank him for so many things. But his music, his lyrics, and his voice pulled me out of the darkest point my life has ever reached. So on this, the 10th anniversary of his passing, I simply want to say thank you, Joe, for all that you gave to the world and for always being there for me.